Today on Dr. Phil.
My best friend calls him the devil.
Your wife's accused you of being homophobic, racist, mentally and emotionally abusive.
That's who I am.
He came on the show
You just are offensive to the sensibilities and you don't care.
You're absolutely correct.
with a chip on his shoulder.
Good luck, Dr. Phil, trying to fix me.
But before it's over,
I don't succumb to drama.
You're all about drama.
you won't believe he's the same man.
Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, three, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. How are you? Okay. Can you imagine being with a man like this?
I love being the perfect ass. I wouldn't want to be married to me. Good luck, Dr. Phil, trying to fix me.
Well, you're probably wondering what kind of woman would be married to a man like that, much less ask for help with how to keep him. Well, believe it or not, my first guest married him, and she says she does want to keep him. Here's her story.
Mark is an arrogant ass, and I just can't take it anymore. Mark's brain in his mouth. There is no communication. There's like that blockage going on. What? Mark is constantly derogatory and says offensive things in public. Most of my friends won't even come out because they can't stand to be around him. My best friend calls him the devil. Mark is very narcissistic. He's very full of himself.
You know I'm awesome.
Mark and I met 10 years ago. At first, I didn't like him because he was arrogant, but then that bad boy in him became extremely attractive. When I married Mark, I hoped that he would change his ways and just that he'd stop being a wild child, and it didn't work. That dream got busted very quickly. When I call him and I ask him where he's at, he tells me I don't have to tell you where I'm at. It's none of your damn business. When he drinks, he drinks. You don't stop. Mark has driven us home drunk, and I tried to stop him from driving, and then that causes a huge argument. And his thing is, you doubt me? You doubt me? I mean, he said on many occasions that he'll just kill us both. One time at the bar, this girl was arguing with me, and Mark just whipped out his business and peed up and down her, and he brags about it to people because he thinks it's funny. I haven't had a sex drive in about 4 years because I had my thyroid removed. The only time Mark and I have sex now is when I'm drunk and usually when I'm passed out, and he still continues to have sex with me. I feel cheap when he does that. When I got thyroid cancer, Mark wasn't there for me at all. No doctor's appointments. I mean, the only reason why he came in for my surgery is because I needed a ride to the hospital and I couldn't find a ride from anybody else. Seriously, I gotta get my homework done. I'm currently enrolled in my master's program for forensic psychology. He has said on many occasions, oh, you're going to the big schoolhouse now, boss. And he teases me about that. Mark is truly the epitome of an ass. If you were to look up in the dictionary, I can guarantee his picture is very close.
Okay, now, how do you feel about watching that? You just narrated your life, right?
Yes.
And then you step back and watch it. How do you feel about that?
It's disturbing. It's very disturbing. Looking at it now, it's like, wow, I can't believe, it's hard. It's hard to see that. It's hard to see that.
Okay, and how long have you been with him?
We've been married for 8 years, been together for 9 years.
Okay, so 9 years you've been with him, and he's been treating you this way for the bulk of that time. Why has that been okay with you for 9 years? That's important to me to understand where you are.
I think because I have a low self-esteem, I'll admit that. I have a low self-esteem, and I can't get anybody else.
I've always thought I'd rather be happy alone than sick with somebody else. So, but you don't feel that way. You'd rather be sick with somebody else than be alone.
All day long, I have a fear of being alone. I have a fear of being alone.
Okay, and he knows that, right?
Oh, yes, he knows that.
Well, let's hear what her husband Mark has to say.
A friend of mine once said that, Mark, you never have to worry about getting hemorrhoids because you truly are the perfect ass. I am very arrogant. I never have to worry about dying because Satan would no longer have a job. I don't care what other people think about me. I mean, if you can't handle the heat, get the hell out of the kitchen. Nicole or friends will tell me that I don't think before I say something and it really hurt their feelings or something. I'm like, no, I did think. That's why I said it. I don't care if it hurt your feelings. As far as me being her husband, I'm not involved in her life. Nicole will tell people that don't even bother wasting your time with talking about it. She's absolutely right about that. When I do drink, it's ugly. It's blackout. I'm walking around and functioning. I can drive us home safely. But I have no idea what happened. None. Nothing. Zip. Zilch. In certain situations, I will be rash and insensitive. I told one kid, please call his mom and dad and apologize for the fact that he wasted the sperm and the egg to birth him into this world because he's absolutely useless. He had no intimate contact. She says she has no sex drive. And I'm like, okay, but I do. I have needs. When she's drinking, she'll undress herself and you'll put that figure bent over in front of my face, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, no, I feel no stimulation whatsoever. Well, I'm a guy, and I guess that's an invitation. And then, I get to hear, well, I was drunk. How did you possibly think that I could have enjoyed that? You were making noises like you were enjoying it, and you were saying my name. When Nicole and I start to argue, I completely shut her out and ignore her. I know there is no winning in the situation. Yeah, you know what? Yes, you're absolutely right. You've got to be right. I just said something to shut you up. Because I suck at communication. I do love her. I wouldn't want to see any harm come to her. But if I'm so bad, why don't you just move on? Why deal with me? Just let me be an ass.
So, what do you think about watching what you just said?
I think it's totally true.
Yeah. In fact, you take pride in it.
Yeah, I don't have
It's a
any problem
higher
with it.
art form for you. You're good at this.
I'm good at it. I'm real good at it, Dr. Phil.
You just are offensive to the sensibilities of anybody and everybody, and you don't care.
Yes, you're
Okay.
absolutely correct.
Do you actually work at it?
No, it comes easy.
It's
It's my normal nature. It's what I've been since a kid.
You don't do things to shock people.
No, not really. That's just my normal nature.
Well, you said that you were in a bar and you walked up to 3 African-American men and took out your male anatomy and said, you ever seen anything like this on a white boy? Are you telling me that wasn't for shock effect?
No, it wasn't. It was because I was pissed off because they were scoping the white females in the audience, and they have a problem if I scope their sisters.
You seem to be homophobic, are you?
No, I have no problem with gay people. I just don't like them hitting on me.
But yet you go up and expose yourself to 3 men.
Well, I was hammered.
That seems to be, well, sometimes they say alcohol opens the window to your soul.
Well, maybe it does. So.
That it washes away your inhibitions and the real you comes out.
Obviously, I don't remember it, but
so maybe the window to your soul is that you're highly abusive and latently gay. I don't know. I'm asking. I'm asking. I don't know.
I'm not offended by rainbows.
So you also, a friend of hers, you didn't like what she was saying, so you again whip it out and urinate on her.
I told her I had to. She kept poking her finger in my chest, telling me how much of a bitch Nicole was. I said, well, I told you I had to. So yes, I urinated on her. And then I grabbed the mop bucket and cleaned it up.
Yeah. And is there anything in your mind or your brain that suggests to you that that's inappropriate by any standard?
No, because I'm hammered. I don't even know I'm there.
Yeah. Well, that's your excuse, but you behave this way when you're stone cold sober, including now, right? You've come out here with a chip on your shoulder, right? Because you're just like, hey, you didn't help me. I'm who I am.
Yeah, I'm a little pissed off about the comment about I just took her to the hospital when she got her thyroid done because she needed a ride.
It's interesting that out of everything that we've talked about, the fact that you're exposing yourself in bars, urinating on women, she's accused you of rape, she's accused you of being homophobic, she's accused you of being racist, she's accused you of being physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive. The one thing that offends you is about giving her a ride to the hospital. All the rest of the stuff's okay.
That's who I am. That's what the way I've always been.
Mm-hmm. We got to take a break. Next, it's hard to believe that even one woman would want to be with Mark, but it appears that, according to you, there are some women that are actually fighting over him. So we'll talk about that when we come back.
As far as a husband, I kind of think I'm not really a husband. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would rate myself a 1 because 0 is not a number. I wouldn't want to be married to me. During Nicole and my relationship, I had several different emotional affairs with other women. They didn't expect anything from me, and it was totally cool. When she asked me what I was doing, I said, it's none of your business what I'm doing. You don't own me. I do what I need to do.
I've confronted Mark on many occasions about him cheating on me, and he swears it's only been emotional affairs, but I just don't believe that. 2 women have come forward stating that he's the father of their children. One of the babies is a mini Mark. It's an identical Mark.
Well, I'm here with Nicole and Mark, and it was just her talking about her husband's emotional affairs, according to him. But you say you don't believe they're emotional.
No, I believe it was much more than that. I mean, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, this is your husband's baby, and it looks just like him, I mean, what am I supposed to do?
If you say she doesn't own you and you don't owe her any explanations, then why would you care if she knew if you were having affairs or not?
Who said I cared? If she knew I
I'm
was
asking,
having
do
affairs?
you?
No.
Yeah.
No, at that time, I didn't care if she knew that whether I was having an affair or not. It was none of her business.
Have you had an affair during your marriage?
Emotional affair, not physical affair.
You've never had a physical affair?
No.
Those aren't your kids?
No. And I won't waste the money to have a fraternity test to prove they're not mine. I don't succumb to drama.
Well, but you're all about drama. I mean, if there's
Not me.
if you're a drama queen, if there's a drama queen in the house, it's you.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, you're urinating on a woman in a bar. It's a little dramatic, isn't it? You think that he's lying. You think he is having affairs.
Yes, I do think he's lying, and he's been lying all these years, in my opinion.
Yeah. And you don't care whether she believes you or not.
I don't, because I know the truth.
Yeah. But she's your wife. Do you have any regard or consideration for her feelings at all?
Yes, I do.
Would it help her if she knew that wasn't the case? That, in fact, you weren't having an affair?
It may help her, but I'm not paying for it. I do good enough to take care of us.
What about if I paid for it?
If you paid for it, that's fine.
Be happy to do it then.
Not a problem.
All right, good. Now, she also said that she found pictures of one of the women in a bra and underwear. And she says you said you took it to give to another guy.
Did I buy her flowers? Yeah, I bought her flowers.
Yeah.
Did we have lunch or something together before? Yes, we did. But I don't remember some picture about some female scantily dressed so that I
You've
took
seen the
pictures
picture?
of.
Oh, yes, I've seen the
On
photos.
his phone?
No, it was actual photos.
Oh, it was actual
yeah,
photo.
because it was on film camera. Yeah. I mean, along with the cards of the I love you, thank you so much, Mark, for the other day. Yeah, the cards right in there with the photos.
Yeah. Why are you doing that if you're married, emotional or otherwise? I don't know. I just met you, so I don't know whether you did or you didn't, but why are you doing what you're saying you're doing?
Because they don't bitch at me and they don't expect anything from me. It's just all about having a good time, just hanging out. I can just be relaxed. I don't have to worry about expectations.
Nicole says that you make comments like, I can have any woman because my anatomy is big enough. Do you say that? I can have any woman because I'm big enough.
I must have been drunk then, Dr. Phil, because I don't remember saying that.
Well, you
I do
must
remember
drink
saying,
a lot or talk
I do
a lot
remember,
when you are.
No, I don't drink a lot. I do remember saying that I could have any female that I wanted in the world, given enough time to understand what their needs were. I did say that on several occasions.
Is that what he said? Given enough time to know what
When he
your
was
needs are?
sober, he said that, yeah.
Yeah. And what did he say the other
But
time?
the other times, it's when he drinks, it's this. And he said exactly that he could have any woman he wanted because of the size of his stuff.
Do you have a feeling of inadequacy as a male? Because when I hear somebody crowing an awful lot about something, I get to wondering if they're really upset about it in some way.
No, I'm pretty proud of it. I think, as a matter of fact,
I'll take your word for it.
I think I probably made comments before that there's only one muscle that counts and mine works fine.
Okay. Let's take a break. Next, it seems that there are no bounds to who Mark offends. Other races, homosexuals, nothing is off limits to Mark. And we're going to get into that when we come back, and I've got a couple of questions for him that don't have to do with other people, they have to do with him. We'll be right back.
One of my friends, she's African American, and Mark made comments to her like, "Where's your spear?"
Nicole thinks that I'm racist. I make references towards, to be PC, African Americans. She doesn't like me using the N-word. So I've adapted to that to try to please her. Now I use reference of neck bone, National Geographic candidate, things like that. Nicole thinks that I'm homophobic.
Mark says all the time, if it wasn't for gay people, there wouldn't be any AIDS.
I have no problem with gay people. Don't hit on me. I don't want your gay ass hitting on me. I don't want you to throw your hand on your hip and say, "Oh, baby, you look like you sure could be a good time." Seriously? You know, who does that? Oh, my God, why do I have to have these hitting on me?
Well, that was Nicole and her husband Mark talking about Mark's feelings regarding gay people. Now, Nicole wrote to me for help with Mark. She says he's not only arrogant, rude, he's also racist and homophobic. Do you agree with that? Are you racist?
What's racist? I don't like dirtbags in any race.
Yeah.
I have a problem with the fact that there's other races that don't bitch and look for a handout, and they've been certainly abused. The Jewish race, Polish race, the American Indian race, they don't stand there for a handout, and I don't have to hear how they were a victim. They just go through life and make things happen.
Okay, I would think that would be a big yes. Are you homophobic?
No, I just don't want them hitting on me. I could care less what they do. Whatever they do is their own thing. You can't help who you fall in love with, but I don't want them hitting on me. You know, I don't engage that type of action towards them that would make them feel that, hey, this guy might want to go my way. No, it doesn't happen like that. So I don't appreciate being approached like that.
What do you think?
No, he's a homophobe. I'm just going to say it. I mean, he doesn't like any of my gay friends. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them in particular who, yes, have made advances to him. But even before the fact, I'm not hanging out with you with them. And he uses terms towards them that are very inappropriate.
Right. African Americans as well.
Oh, of course, African Americans as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gee, Mark, is that true? Well, the funny thing is that every man that Nicole spends time with is gay. I mean, it's amazing. But, you know, when these supposed gay guys start stalking her, as she has put it before, or telling other people how they would like to sleep with her, well, she must have some magic if she's converting them. So I just don't think they're all gay.
So you think she's lying to you about that?
About certain males, yes.
Yeah. Do you think that she at all has the right or is entitled to expect you to treat her with dignity and respect?
In a healthy marriage, yes, she does.
And I assume you say that to distinguish your current marriage from a healthy marriage.
Absolutely.
Because in this marriage that you consider unhealthy, you haven't had consensual sex in four years. She says the only time you've had sex is when you're drunk.
Yeah,
and,
when I'm drunk.
And you can't and don't resist.
Yeah, I'm
and
drunk.
So
yeah.
you say he takes advantage of you at that time. You say, no, no, no. If I'm raping her, she sure seems to be enjoying it.
Correct.
Because you said she sure makes noises and seems to call out your name.
She knows my name, and it's definitely not God.
Yeah. Okay, so at that point, you think she's really enjoying it. But elsewise, no sex whatsoever.
No, that's not true. But I'm not going to bring up that situation because that would publicly embarrass her.
All of a sudden, he's sensitive. Okay. Now, is your marriage unhealthy?
Very unhealthy.
Are you at a breaking point?
Very much so. I'm at it's now or I'm done. I've got too much in my future.
I thought the reason that we were coming here is to work on our marriage.
Right.
Okay, so to say that all of a sudden I started caring seems a little unfair to me. If I didn't care, why would I be here?
Why are you here?
Because I do care, and I love her, and I want to see good things happen for her, and I believe she deserves happiness.
You have a daughter.
I do.
And you said if your daughter married somebody like you that treated you the way you treat her.
That treated her the way I treat her?
Yes,
Yes.
that you would disappear him. He'd be gone.
That he would disappear?
Right.
Absolutely.
So you get that it's inappropriate.
Absolutely.
Are you saying then that you're doing it because you don't know how to do differently? That if you knew how to do differently, you would do differently?
Partially.
What's the other part?
Partially is lack of how to change it, because I've always been this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have some knowledge of how to control my behavioral situations. But since everybody considers me refers to me as why try?
I'm glad you brought that up. Let's take a break. I'm going to respond to that. Is it possible that Mark was just simply born this way, or is there something that he's not dealing with or acknowledging that have left him with this choice? We're going to talk about that when we come back.
One of my aunts said to my mother that if I was her child, that she'd pull my pants down and spank me and I would learn who was boss. And I told her to off.
Well, Nicole wrote to me begging for help with saving her marriage to her husband, Mark. Now, Mark admits that he's arrogant and rude, and people say that he's been that way since childhood. Take a look at what he says.
When I was growing up, my mom absolutely did not control me as a kid. I was stubborn and I was going to do what I wanted to anyways. My dad wasn't in the picture except on Christmas. He would stop by and drop off $10 and it's like, dude, why even bother, seriously? I just felt like I was programmed to screw up. In second grade, they wanted to expel me. A friend of mine said that my mom ate dog poop, and I tried to break his back by continually beating him over the school desk. When I was about 10, one of my aunts said to my mother that if I was her child, that she'd pull my pants down and spank me and I would learn who was boss. And I told her to off. The day of my 12th birthday, my gift was a year in drug rehab. I definitely didn't have a drug or alcohol problem. My mom put me there because she had no other place to put me, no other place would take me. At age 15, my mother had called the cops because I beat up her husband. After that, I moved out. I look back on my childhood, I wouldn't want to change anything. It made me tougher.
Okay, I'm here with Nicole and Mark. And now, Mark, let me tell you what my goal is here today. At a minimum, you leave here with a very clear understanding of why you're doing what you're doing and what the consequences of those choices are. Because I don't think you understand all of that. I think you have some understanding, but not a lot. And so at a minimum, my goal is that you understand exactly why you have become who you've become. Good, bad, and indifferent. All the good things, bad things, and everything in between. And the same thing with you. I want you to leave here with at least an understanding of why you have allowed yourself to be subjected to this kind of behavior for the extended period of time that you have. So that's my minimum goal. My maximum goal, of course, would be that you would be motivated to change, that you would actually choose a different route through this life. But we'll see. Now, do you think that you go through life scared?
No.
Yeah. Because you describe yourself as being arrogant. Yeah. What, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, but what is it you're arrogant about? Because I don't get what you're arrogant about.
I don't get what I'm arrogant about either.
But what?
But I'm told that I'm arrogant.
There's a lot of different ways to be. Why do you choose arrogance?
The reason why I'm that way, I honestly think I don't need friends. I don't need people to like me. And the good thing about people not liking me is I have no one to blame my problems on except me. So that makes me accountable. If I'm going to change that problem, I'm the one that has to do it. And I assure you I'm not blowing any smoke up your area.
Yeah. But do you have any idea why you're that way?
Protection. Not because I'm scared. Okay, because I get tired of people saying, you offended me, you hurt my feelings. Oh my God, that wasn't the appropriate thing to say at that time. Blah, 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 you know, just like I'm a complete screw up.
I disagree with you 180 degrees. I think you go through this life petrified, horrified, scared to death every minute of every hour of every day. And I think it is because you have a debilitating fear of intimacy. I think if anybody gets close to you, I think if feelings get invested, you invest in someone else invests in you, I think that terrifies you like I pitched a rattlesnake in your lap. You said, quote, I am purposely an ass so people don't get close to me and I don't have to worry about hurting them. That's where the arrogance comes in. I refuse to let people get close to me because I don't want to get hurt. In turn, I hurt other people.
I don't want to get hurt because I hurt them. I could care less what they think about me.
That's not true. I don't believe that for a minute. I think that you have been hurt and you poo-poo, oh, childhood just made me tougher, it's this, it's that. Same thing with her, just get over it. That happened when you're younger, get over it, you're an adult, get over it. And you can say that, but it leaves an indelible mark on you. And I think you have a philosophy in life that you perceive to be working for you, and that is get them before they get me. So I'm going to offend you, I'm going to shock you, I'm going to push you back, I'm going to be abrasive, and that way I'm the one doing the rejecting, I don't get hurt. And I say that because I believe you have a debilitating fear of intimacy. And the things that you talk about that you say just made you tougher, look, when your dad's not around, that's not good for you. It's not good for any child. Mark, it just isn't. When you've got stepfathers rotating through, that's not okay. When you get sent away to a drug rehab for a year and you don't have a drug problem, it's just, I need somewhere to house this kid, get out of here. You know, what does a kid say to himself about that? It changed who you are. It changed who you were. And so you became, you know, I'm just going to be Billy Badass. I don't care. I'll be irreverent. I'll say anything to anybody. Whatever you do to me, I don't care. If your legacy in this life is, yeah, I was the perfect ass. Well, bully for you. I mean, and it causes you to make distorted choices. Next, it's Nicole's turn. Find out what her dark past reveals about her relationship with Mark when we come back.
It was the first time I remember getting tied to the bed. It was little. And I was put in the basement a lot. There was nothing down there for me to sleep on, and there was no food.
We've been talking to Nicole, who says her husband, Mark, is arrogant, rude, and verbally abusive to her. Now, Mark admits that at times he treats her horribly, but Nicole turns around and says she wants to save the marriage. So are you confused about that? Well, maybe this will help reveal why she stays.
My early childhood, I have a lot of bad memories. I was sexually molested and raped as a child from the age of 5 till 17. From an early age, I was in and out of foster care. I was pushed down the stairs, which resulted in my leg breaking. It was the first time I remember getting tied to the bed. It was little. And I was put in the basement a lot. There was nothing down there for me to sleep on, and there was no food. And there was no place to use the bathroom. In the basement, there was a small window. And I broke out the window, and I ran across the street to the neighbor's house. And she called the police. And they made me go home. By the time I got into high school, I was already sexually active, and I used to poke holes in the condoms. Because in my head, it was if I got pregnant, then that boy or that boy's family would rescue me. There was absolutely nothing happy about most of my childhood.
Those things change a person.
Oh yeah, they do.
It causes you to make choices that settle for less than what someone else would think they deserve.
Right.
And so, I mean, I approach this and say, there are two broken lives here. There are two people here that have been really abused mentally, emotionally, and physically across time, and children learn what they live. And you bring two broken souls together, and they sometimes can play into each other's bad points. You know, what bothers me most about you is you know that she's damaged. And you could have been and can be the biggest blessing in her life.
All I hear is how I screwed this up, how I pissed that friend off, blah, 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 how I snore. And it's just nothing but, I mean, I don't hear anything positive, you know? And I figure as far as fixing the things that she had happen to her in her past when she was a little kid, I can't fix them because I'm the screw up.
You have to decide that you want better for yourself and you want better for each other. And you know, you can bail if you want, but you're just going to go make somebody else miserable. If you take the same mindset, the same fear of intimacy, the same unwillingness to get real with yourself and somebody else into the next relationship that you got in this one, you're going to wind up in the same place.
Oh, that's obvious.
Well, yeah.
I
Up
mean,
next, why
obviously
does
it's
Nicole
repeated,
want to stay married to Mark? And what does Mark want? We'll be right back. Got to take a break.
I do love Mark a lot. I love him so much. When he does do good, he is so passionate. He's got such a big level of creativity, and just his passion side and his soft side, when he shows that, it like almost outshines all the bad crap that he's done to me. I would rather be stuck with an ass and be treated the way I am than be all by myself. It'd be lovely.
Don't you want to try to change this? I mean, you either need to do one of two things. You either need to change it or you need to get out.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to be her abuser, do you?
Absolutely not.
I said to you that I think that you are desperately afraid of taking your guard down and letting anybody get close to you. What do you think about that?
I think you're 100% correct. If I let somebody get close to me and I hurt them, then it's just one more thing I've screwed up.
And what about them hurting you?
People don't really hurt me, Dr. Phil.
No, they don't, because you don't let them get in that position.
Right. I allow myself to feel hurt if I hurt them because I feel like, here we go, I just screwed something else up.
And you're just a screw up, right? I mean, you just decided you're a screw up.
Pretty much the way it is. I'm good at that.
What have you decided for once in your life, instead of just being the tough guy, instead of just being the screw up, instead of just being the guy that gets them before they get me, that you actually said, I'm going to give myself 90 days with some professional help to sit down and try and see if there are things in me that I can heal so that I can be a better friend to myself, a better partner to my wife,
A better human being to public.
a better person for those I come in contact with, my daughters, whatever. What could go wrong if you gave yourself that 90 days and really committed to it?
I wouldn't give myself the 90 days because that costs money.
I do care what happens to you. And as my gift to you, I want to arrange exactly what I just talked about in your hometown for you. Professional help to sit down with you and help you.
Bobby, Mark.
Thank you.
Will you take that help?
Yes, sir.
Why is that hard for you to receive?
It's scary. I've never known anything different. And no one's really ever offered that.
I believe that in all of our lives, there are moments in time when all things wrong can be made right. And I think you deserve that. I think you are worth that. And I think that what has happened to you in your life is absolutely, unequivocally atrocious. And you deserve a break. And I just want to give it to you. Will you take it?
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right. Now, let me say to you, I want you to do the same thing. And you notice I'm not saying I want you two in couples therapy.
Correct.
I want you to minister to yourself just as I want Mark to minister to himself. And then I want you two to come together and decide if you have some things to offer each other in a healthy way.
Thank you.
And this will start immediately for both of you.
Thank you so very much.
Okay?
Thank you.
When we come back, the most important thing that Nicole and Mark need to hear before they leave here today. Right back. I said before the break that I wanted to talk to you two about the most important thing I wanted you to hear before you left here today, and it is this. You know, life has momentum, and you guys both have a lot of momentum in the same direction. Something dramatic has to happen to change that. That's what I want today's show to be for you. I mean, how often do you do this?
Right.
I mean, you won't ever forget being here, right? Hopefully, this is a stimulus that starts a whole new sequence. And I've never been under the impression that I'm up here doing 8-minute cures. This is the beginning. This isn't the end. And we all make choices. We sometimes just don't realize that we're making a choice, and we don't realize that we can continue to choose. And y'all chose to come here. And I was talking to the producer before we started. They were saying, you know, this guy's a tough case. I said, let me tell you something. He's here. And you've got to give him credit for being here today. He came here because in the back of his mind, he's hoping and searching for something for you and for him. True? So you wouldn't be here. He's here. That's a choice that begets another choice and another choice. And it's already started a sequence. Dominoes start to fall in the right direction. So, I mean, God bless y'all for coming and sharing your story, because there's a lot of people out there watching this. It is about a choice. Thanks for being here. So long.